Hello, everyone. Welcome to Teacher Jess Online. Today, I'm going to share with you a very inexpensive tech tool that I have personally used for several years, and I'm using now as we are still navigating post-COVID, but also high tech and low tech solutions for our students. So, one of the things that I have used over the years has been ZipGrade, and I cannot recommend ZipGrade enough because number one, it's very cheap and very affordable. And when I say cheap, I mean it's only $6.99 per year to have a teacher subscription. So it's very, very, very cost effective. So if you go to www.zipgrade.com, you'll see this as their landing page. Their touchless grading when in class and for online and remote for students that are not. So the two main pros of using ZipGrade is that you can give a test, a paper written test where students will bubble in on like a Scantron generated form that ZipGrade generates it for you, which all you got to do is just press print. And then they have a new option available as well where they can write their answers down on a sheet of paper and then they can go in and digitally fill out the Scantron and you can still get those results available as soon as possible. So this video is just going to be the overview of how ZipGrade can help you with your classes. In future videos, I'll go into a deeper tutorial to tell you all the ins and outs about why I choose to use ZipGrade and how it has made my life so much easier in getting feedback to students much faster. And it's also helped me track my data concerning student standards mastery, which is huge, especially if you are in a state standardized tested subject. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to log in. I've already got my login here. And let me go to, so my current account that I have is just the basic subscription, which is what they have available, $6.99. By far, one of the cheapest, most affordable tech tools platforms that I've ever used. Now, the platform is a bit outdated so far as like the glitz and the colors and all of that stuff, but the money that you are paying for this, I've always had really great customer service from ZipGrade. Once I've figured out how to use it, it has been so easy, so easy. So I'm going to share with you the easiest way to do this. So once you go on, you can start with like a free trial to see if it works for you, to see if this is something you want to use in your classes. I think they give you a very limited amount of papers that you can use to grade per month. But then once you go on to the year subscription, it's much easier. All right, so what I do is I go in first and I create my classes. So I would just click add new class. I'm going to call this my sample class. I'm going to click save. And then for my sample class, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to edit my student roster. So I'm going to cover up these student names right here. But what you could do before I even do that is I could add a new student for my class. So I'm just going to call this John Sample. And as you can see, I have these other classes listed. And so I'm just going to go to sample class. I'm going to save that student. So now whenever I go to my classes, my class size, the sample class has just this one student count, John Sample. All right. So now let's say I'm going to always make my answer sheets first. And then I go in and then I attach it to a quiz. So once you get your classes set up, it's very easy. I just do my student first and last name, and then I link them to their certain classes. I'm going to go in. I'm going to create an answer sheet. So they've got all kinds of like if you wanted to do just a 20 question PDF, a 50 question, or a 100 question, it'll go ahead. It'll tell you the form details. Student ID section. If you do it with the IDs, what it will do, and I'll show you in a minute, is it can populate customized answer sheets for your students, which this is so great because students have really illegible handwriting and it just makes it easy. Scan, go, you get the data, you know the student, etc. So I'm going to go down here to custom answer sheet wizard. I'm going to do a new answer sheet. I'm just going to call this sample quiz. The next, I usually just take the quiz part off of my answer sheet just because it's me, because on the side of it, it'll generate it. It'll say what it is. And I always want to do the student ID section so that way it'll populate those student answer sheets so easy. And then I do my ABCD for my answer key versions. And this is also helpful too, because one of the things that we have found post-COVID is that students are really, really good at cheating. And so what we have done, my colleagues and I in our department, we have switched to doing paper tests, and each test has 4 different versions. So with QuizGrade or with ZipGrade, I can generate an answer key and I can have 4 different versions of my test. Students will take the test and bubble in their version. And then as soon as I just scan it in, it automatically will scan to that answer key and I can go on about my day without having to switch. So then after I've entered in my name, the name of the quiz, etc., I'm just going to add multiple choice questions. I want them on the internal. You can do an internal label where they're inside the bubble. It's A, B, C, D, E, or external. I found that internal is much easier with students because that's what they're used to seeing with their um, regular tests that they take for standardized tests. For this one, I'm just going to do 5 questions. And to make it easier, I'm just going to keep it at A, B, C, D. Okay. So you could interrupt A, B, C, D, E, or you could do T, F for true, false, interrupt to 10 letters. So I'm just going to add my questions. And so this is what it's going to look like. Now, this is the preview. So it says max number per page 4. So if you really wanted to save paper, and I'll show you in just a minute, you could print 4 of these. And then that way, all you have to do is just cut them up and you've got 4 responses. So I'm going to click publish. Yes, I want to publish it. And then now if I go to my sample quiz, this is where it's like, okay, here's the PDF for 1. So that's going to take a lot of pages. Or if I go back, here's the PDF for 2. So I could print that. Or if I want to go back, here's the PDF for 4. All right, so that would give me the generic where I could print this off and have my students write their name and the class that they are registered to. However, if I want to take it a step further, I've made this answer sheet and now I want to link this with a quiz. So I'm going to go over here to new quiz. I'm going to put sample quiz. And I am going to put it on my answer sheet. And look, here's my sample quiz answer sheet. So it's going to link that data with the answers from that answer sheet. And I'm just going to do my sample class and I'm going to click Save Quiz. And now that I have linked that together, this is where it's going to link all of my data whenever I scan in those student responses. So the next thing I can do is I can edit the answer key and I can go in and let's say that it's like A, B, C, D, A. Okay. But if I also wanted to do another one, I could provide the answers and I could do A, B, B, C, D, etc., etc. Okay. And I could print the key, I could export it, etc. I'm just going to go back to my quiz. Yes, I'm going to leave that. Okay, so that is the basic gist of getting set up in ZipGrade and getting an answer sheet linked to a quiz for your classes. Now, one last thing that I think is really, really cool. So my sample class, and let's say I wanted to generate those personalized answer sheets for my students. So all I have to do is just print it out and give it to them. And this is also very helpful if you have students that are absent the day of the quiz. You can just take their answer sheet and then staple the quiz to it and put it over to the side. And then you already know that when that student returns, there's that quiz, there's that answer sheet ready to go and be given. So I'm just going to come over here, sample class. I'm going to click answer sheet packets. And now what it does is it's going to list all of the different answer sheets that I've created thus far. And with sample quiz, it's generated the 1 page, the 2 page, or the 4 per page. So I'm just going to click 4 per page just so you could see. Now I only have one student in there, so it only generated the one student's personalized answer sheet. But let's say I had John sample, his would be right here. Then if I had Jane sample, hers would be right here. If I had June sample and I had Josh sample, theirs would all be right here. But what's really cool, like I said, is you have the student name, you have the class, you've got their answers. They bubble in the key that the version that they're tested on, and then you'd have the name of the quiz over here to the side. So I always name my answer sheets and my quizzes the same name. That's going to be so easy for you to link your data together. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. Like I said, this is just a brief tutorial to get you up and running with ZipGrade. And in future videos, I will do a deep dive into the online submissions using the student portal feature for ZipGrade. So check in the description box for a link to ZipGrade so you can start your free trial. And I hope that this will help you work smarter, not harder.